Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. For example 3, we have a combination of two mass with two springs and one damper. The input to the system is external force Fa and the output of the system is X1. Now let's do the free body diagram analysis. So since we have two mass, the analysis will be done on the two mass. First, we draw for mass 1. Okay, we have three forces acting on that. So I draw 3 lines. Same goes to M2. We have external force, Fa, then force from damper and spring. In order to determine the direction of the force, let's consider X2 is bigger than X1. With that assumption, we consider that both damper and spring is in tension. Okay, so let's say the spring is in tension. Therefore, the reaction it will pull in. So therefore, for mass 1, the reaction will be to this side. This is FD and this is FS2. Then for spring 1, it is also in tension. So it will pull the mass. So this is Fs1. For mass 2, so this is F damper and this is F spring 2. Now let's rewrite the governing equation. For mass 1, the equation will be Fd plus Fs2 minus Fs1 equal to M1 d square x1. This is the first equation. Then for mass 2, the equation will be Fa minus Fd minus Fs2 equal to M2 d square x2. This is the second equation. Then we write the equation for all other elements. For spring 1, the equation is Fs1 equal to K1 x1. Then for spring 2, the equation is Fs2 equal to K2 x2 minus x1. Then for damper, we write Fd equal to Cd x2 minus x1. This will be the third equation, fourth equation, and fifth equation. Now we can draw the block diagram. So we start with the output. The output to the system is x1. So equation 1 and equation 3 contain the term x1. So we can choose one of these equations to start with. Let's start with equation 1. So from 1, x1 is equal to 1 over m1 d square multiplied with fd plus fs2 minus fs1. So we draw the block diagram, x1, and in the block is 1 over m1 d square, and the input is fd plus fs2 minus fs1. So then we have a summation point, okay, with 3 input arrows. Let's consider this is fd, this is fs2, and this is fs1. So now let's solve for fs1. You can solve from equation 3. Fs1 is equal to k x1. Right? So meaning we have a block here. This is k1. Then we tap from here and join it to here. Then let's solve for fd first. From equation 5, fd is equal to cd x2 minus x1. Okay, so the block will be cd. The input is x2 minus x1. Okay, x2 minus x1, we draw a summation point because the operation is subtraction. So we have x2, then we have x1 here. Okay, then let's solve for fs2. So fs2 is from equation 4. fs2 is equal to k2 x2 minus x1. Okay, so we draw k2. Then since x2 and minus x1 is already in the system, so we just tap from there. Now let's solve for x2. So from equation 2, we rewrite x2 is equal to 1 over m2d square multiplied with fa minus fd minus fs2. Okay. So we draw the block diagram. 1 over m2d square. The input is fa minus fd minus fs2. Okay. Then we draw a summation point with 3 arrows coming into it. So this one is fa. Then we have, let's say this is fs2. Then this is fd. So the sign is plus, minus, minus. Okay. Since fd and fs2 is already in the system, so we just tap from here. So we have fs2, tap and join it to here. And for fd, we just tap from fd and go to here. So this is the complete block diagram for the system.